Hey guys, Ezio Auditore here, and today I want to talk about a little bit of a theory I have about MMR, and I feel like it's on. This is obviously just anecdotal evidence. It's not evidence at all, really. It's just something I have noticed over the past couple of days, and it's interesting because it hasn't been terrible, but it's also been bad for another reason. Let me just get into it. So I've noticed the past about 3 or 4 days now, my matches on killers that I play a lot have actually been kind of like good. Like, usually I'm winning with 3 gens up, not even paying attention to the game, no game delay perks, no add-ons, nothing. That's just how my games go usually. And it's not because I'm so incredible, it's just because the people I'm going against aren't that great. But the past couple of days, I have noticed my games have been getting down to the wire. Like, all the gens have been finished a couple of times. Like, I'm actually starting to have to like use a lot of game delay stuff, and for some reason, like, the collective skill of the survivors in the games tends to be a little bit better. Now, I don't know if this is a placebo or not, but I commented on how weird this was because usually, like I said, I'm not really having to try that much because I'm not getting matched against super good players. But the past couple of days, I feel like that's been different. I feel like I've been going against better players actually, and it's been pretty consistent with pretty much no exceptions. Like, there might be one weak link, but for the most part, all the teams I've gone against with killers that like I main have been very good. So when I play Oni, Blight, Huntress, Wraith, any of those killers, I'm usually going against actually pretty good teams, which is interesting because it makes me think that there is some type of MMR system that's actually kind of accurately working now. And I'm not sure because, it's only been 3 or 4 days of testing this, but it has felt markedly different than, the past couple of years. So something does feel different. And to go further into testing this, I decided to switch to killers that I didn't play very often because they mentioned that they had killer specific MMRs to a certain extent. So we thought to try to help confirm this whole theory that MMR is active and actually working, I would switch to killers that I don't play regularly. So I played Doctor. I played Myers. I played a bunch of killers that I don't normally actually play. Now, I don't suddenly forget how to play the game. I just don't play these killers very often. However, every single game where I picked these killers, it was a complete and utter stomp. The people had no idea what they were doing in the games that I was playing. Every single game where I played an off killer that I don't usually ever play, every game was a complete stomp where people had no idea what they were doing. Then I switched back to Oni, and then the game was actually pretty close again. So I know this is not actual evidence, but anecdotally, it does seem like there's some type of matchmaking thing going on, at least for me personally, the past few days. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but maybe I've just had a very, very weird string of specific lucky things happening where when I pick, killers I normally play, I just happen to get good teams. It's totally possible. I'm not saying MMR is active and it's functional, but I just wanted to comment that it's interesting that if it is functional and it is active right now, it's actually doing a somewhat decent job of putting me against teams that I actually kind of have to try for. So, normally I don't really run any perks or add-ons. I run perks, obviously. I don't really run add-ons most of the time on a lot of the killers that I play, like Blight especially. But I'm starting to find that in these games now, I'm actually having to put on a lot of game delay and actually start using add-ons and things like that. The only reason I don't use that stuff is because I felt it was overkill. I'm usually not having to try regardless, so why put on more stuff that just makes it ridiculous? So, but now I'm actually having to use stuff, which is interesting. So it's not necessarily bad or good. It's just different and it's interesting. So I'm actually having to pay attention to games now. I'm going to probably stream again today, and it might be completely different, but I just wanted to bring up this interesting observation. If you've been watching my streams, you probably noticed it too. So that's it. I wonder what's going on, though. Thanks for watching, guys.